Could this be the last Doctor Who logo? I know this sounds weird and kinda baity, but hear me out on this. With the homogenization of the Doctor Who brand this year, everything's now under one roof on BBC iPlayer for the first time in history, except of course for the literally first serial since the rights holder is being a difficult arse. I'm sure the physical DVD copies are soon going to be hard to get, but since I've been seeing the Whoniverse MCU-esque sting cropping up all over social media on repeat, it got me thinking about this 60th onward rebrand of Doctor Who. Could this genuinely be the last logo we see? I don't mean that like we're gonna get 2 series with Ncuti and then we stick Who on ice forever. No, I'm talking about the feasibility of actually rebranding the show again after only a few years of the incumbent visual identity. The Doctor Who logo changed 6 times during the classic era of the show, reverted to what I consider to be like the logo back in the 96 movie, then rebranded 5.5 times again during the NuWho era. I say a half because this was the logo used throughout all of the 50th anniversary branded stuff, apart from the Day of the Doctor itself, that went back and used the original logo, but it never was an actual logo for the show. Maybe an unpopular opinion because of the era it aligned with, but I genuinely think this logo has been the best one of them all. I felt it properly worked across all mediums, even seeing old Doctors paired up with it on DVD and Big Finish releases didn't feel grossly out of place. And now, while I do like the new retro logo, I would have been perfectly okay to keep the Jodie logo. It would almost legitimize the idea that we couldn't just pie off the last 5 years since the brand we associate it with is still going on with an entirely new team at the helm. Anyway, this has meant that throughout its run, Doctor Who has had a wildly inconsistent visual brand. Yes, it very much aligns with the fact the star of the show keeps changing, or changing back if your name is David Tennant, but as any marketing, branding person would tell you, reinventing your look that frequently could lead to disaster. Not so much a direct comparison, more of an over-exaggeration as to what I'm getting at, but it gets the point across. Look at X, open bracket, formerly known as Twitter, close bracket. While that's had the name change and all, look at what a rebrand can do for a business. It could be the best thing that ever happened to it, or in that billionaire Bellend's case, completely run it into the ground. The fact we still have to put formerly known as Twitter in parentheses just shows how much of a monumental cock-up it's been. Doctor Who has obviously not suffered that same fate, but you can't deny it's had an identity crisis for the last 6 decades. Its changes signify eras, but nothing stands above it all to be the logo, the recurring identity for the franchise. Whatever is incumbent at the time becomes the brand overall. I'd been collecting the reproductions of the Blu-ray Steelbook since they restarted them back in 2017, and the spine logo changed halfway bloody through. If you're a physical media collector, you're never so much going to have a consistent collection simply because the brand keeps changing. For a TV show or even any kind of pop culture franchise, it's pretty out of the ordinary to see their visual identity replaced with something sometimes entirely new, let alone so frequently. Sesame Street has been running since 1969, almost as long as Doctor Who but without the hiatuses, and their logo has barely changed at all. You didn't see NCIS reinvent itself every 5 years, and EastEnders is still yet to ditch its 1985 typeface. Not exactly like they need to. I have already made the point that Doctor Who is fundamentally all about change, coming to terms with it and also Daleks, and it's truly testament to how popular the franchise is that it's survived so many rebrands, rehashes and slip-ups in its time. However, with the Whoniverse officially launching, I would argue about 10 years after it should have, we get there eventually, I think the folks atop the franchise's corporate ladder are going to have to make a big decision. How long could it genuinely be before they could rebrand the property again? And that's even if they should. If it's taken them this long to finally get the Doctor Who family back together, eras, spin-offs and all under one roof, why then keep chopping and changing when all the fandom wants right now is some concrete consistency across the board? Since we're supposedly meant to label this post-60th Ncuti series onwards as yet another reboot, as in it's not NuWho anymore, maybe this is the time we get that consistency from the show, at least in such a way that the top-level branding remains the same. Hence why I'm theorising this could be the last logo for Doctor Who as a brand. They've doubled down on the nostalgia by both reviving the 1973 Diamond logo and bringing back David Tennant for his second, but let's face it, probably not last Doctor outing, and this could be that firm launchpad in which to live out Doctor Who until it's either canned, comes to a natural end one day, or that it's actually been long enough to justify giving the franchise a lick of paint. The books, the merchandise, the physical media releases, the Big Finish audio drama artwork, and now Whoniverse logos have to change every single time the franchise changes hands. So why not give the house-style designers and avid collectors peeling away their own skin at the inconsistency of their collections a bit of a break? What do you think? Do you want to see the Diamond logo remain for a good while, or do you enjoy the frequent changes? Also, which logo from the last 60 years is your favourite? Let me know below. Please do subscribe if you haven't already, as the Star Beast is just around the corner. Review will be here, of course. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you then.